Today on Logliners. Today on Logliners, we are going to continue with Darwinism, trying to work out our third and late second act by starting at the very end of the movie and working backwards. So Dave already knows the last frame of the movie, like the very ending, and hit us with it.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. So they're both looking for a home. Darwin doesn't belong in this town anymore. He wants to find a new place. The turtle as well wants to just be somewhere else. They're both exploring together to find that place, and they come ashore a place where the turtle, which I don't think we planted in here yet. I think they have the heart-to-heart, but the turtle gets high eating jellyfish. I'm not sure exactly how they consume it to get actually stoned, but they get to this island, and he's like, "This is it for my family. There's jellyfish everywhere." He's like, "We found it.
This is it. Paradise."
And Charles is like, "I'm so happy for you, but I don't think there's anything here for us." And then Will's just like, "Charles," and he taps him. He's like, "Look at the trees." And he looks, and it's just like a wimboe, a wimboe, a wim, and it's they're all weed trees. And it's like definitely palm trees that have weed. Leaves.
Like huge.
Yeah,
okay.
Huge.
That ends up being the sequel.
And Charles is like, "I think we're home," and that's it.
So, okay.
That's what I had way early on.
I think that's wonderful. But the idea that they are looking for a new home. So I'm just going to start writing payoff on here, which is going to alert us that, like, we need to put a plant somewhere earlier. Weed Island is a payoff, like
the jellyfish.
Need to get high.
Yeah, I think they have the heart-to-heart.
Sorry, my brain fired a different way because I was like, wait, why is Will there? Doesn't he have like a family and stuff?
No, I don't think Will does have a family.
Okay, Will doesn't have a family. He just, he was always
literally worked the graveyard shift.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. So I like that. Immediately before they land on Weed Island, where are we? Does Darwin eventually go back to... Do we go back to England?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he brings the turtle. Like, we had talked about something where he brings the turtle and, like...
Yeah, and then reveals that Idris is a witch at that point.
Yeah. I kind of like that. So the world turns on Idris. Like, they bring the turtle, and Idris is like, "Look, I've made this discovery," or whatever. And Darwin's like, "He's a witch."
I still think that's a thing.
That's great. Okay. So...
So I feel like technically that's kind of like the real ending, and then the last part is like the denouement.
They basically make
the result.
It's the denouement,
but like still,
it's more that's more of a denouement that very very end. But the actual like finishing of Idris, I think they actually go back. I think they had a plan, Seth and Darwin, and that's that Darwin's gonna say that the turtle spoke, or they're gonna devise a plan that makes Idris really have this ego boost. And Idris is like, "The turtle speaks," and he's like, "He's right. I do speak, and he found me." And they're like, "Oh my God." But he put a spell on me to speak. He's a witch. And they're like, "Oh." And he's like, No, that's not it. I mean, I am a witch." And they're like, "Oh." He's like, No, but I didn't make him speak." The cat just
silence you. I love that. I think that whole... So, here's like where my head's at.
Burn
is like,
witches?
It feels like a really big... It could be a really big moment. Like a big set piece. Like they call the whole entire... it could be at fucking Oxford, or... You know what I mean? Like, how big is that? And is that actually a climax moment? Like... Does that... How... If we go a little bit further backwards, all we have is Jungle Book moment, which is basically the animals of the Galapagos fight with Idris Elba's crew to try to get them to leave. We have that much, which I still feel like for this movie, you like need that. That's the big action sequence of the whole movie. Is that the climax, or does that continue. I'm trying to think like
he
Moana.
still
They're fighting
has,
on the water,
captured,
and he gets to England. Like it's still this whole I know that's ridiculous, but because it's probably days of a journey.
And seagulls just constantly pooping on the ship,
still
and
fighting.
birds just dropping.
They pull into they pull into England, and they've
sharks
been
are
fighting
smashing into the side the whole
and
time.
He runs,
a whale
and they're
is
already this congregation of people.
That's ready for
you know what I
him.
mean? Is it part of that? Or is the Jungle Book moment, is that our false victory? And we have to build a climax around this.
I think so. I feel like Idris gets away with something.
He's got to take the turtle, or he'd take the wife.
Okay.
If he takes the wife.
Or, no, it would be too obvious that they're kind of putting him in this situation. They capture him and they're bringing him back, and Idris tells him, you don't have to do this, Charles, blah, blah, blah. And Charles acts like he breaks, and he gives him the benefit, and he's like, I'm going to give you another chance. And he lets him do exactly what he knows he's going to do, which is take the turtle and say, I did this. And the turtle's like, yeah, he's a witch.
Yeah. So in that version of it, it's like the turtle and Darwin would be like, there's no way we can go... There's no way that Idris is not going to tell the world, and we're not going to kill him because we're not him. So how do we, basically the plan would be to discredit him. I feel like that. First of all, that kind of doesn't matter for this tone of a movie. It's whatever,
right.
It's Almost Heroes, kind of
that's a bad one though.
Yeah, but exactly, that's kind of the there's got to be a lot of fucking stupid comedy in it, but sidebar, I love that movie for some reason.
No,
I love that. I don't know why. I don't know why I love that movie.
That movie's terrible trash.
I'm sorry, I was aiming for your head.
Them all it's so with the Indian woman, it's so bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Men being men, you know how it is.
I actually haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Men being men. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then you'll hate it.
I probably will. I should watch it again.
Oh, it's awful.
I mean, really, what I remember, I think, is Chris Farley falling out of a tree. That's kind of
he falls out of a tree
what I remember.
times.
Yeah, exactly. Just them
one
overdoing
time is
that.
for a minute.
No, that's the best joke. That's the best recurring joke. Him taking the egg.
Yeah,
and he's looking around. And it's like,
that's pretty much all I remember.
Oh,
that's why
you're remembering the best moment.
Okay,
you're remembering the SNL skit of the whole movie.
Exactly. Okay, yeah.
That they created.
I feel like I do remember not thinking Matthew Perry was funny in the movie.
He is
but he wasn't meant. Right, he wasn't meant to be. Right?
No, he was never meant to be an actor.
Like Matthew Perry.
Yeah, no, for sure. He got lucky.
Well, anyway, so we should first of all work Matthew Perry into this movie, but secondly,
because I just said this, and if someone actually watches, Matthew Perry,
imagine the only person that ever watches Logliners is Matthew Perry, and he's so nice, probably. He's
he's probably great.
Yeah, he's probably I get it, yeah. So where we're at, the question is, is them discrediting Idris Elba, so they have to go back to England, or we have to bring a British colonial ship to the Galapagos so that he can be discredited there. That's the only other way to do it, I think. If he's actually going to have this crowd of people where he says, "Oh, he's a witch," and he's like, "Yeah, he's a witch. He made me talk." I still love that moment. But is that part of the climax?
Right.
Or is that is that part of the denouement? Is it just two denouements?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right. It's not the climax of the battle. How do they defeat him?
Or like I said, the battle rages across the whole entire ocean, and the battle is still happening. He gets there. I don't know. That's ridiculous, but or the battle is. I'm trying to think. The battle is, I mean, that's actually not that ridiculous. Think about Hook. The third act is the battle. There's side.
The third act.
You know
is
what
a
I
battle.
mean? It's literally he realizes he's Pan, and then they start fighting. Right? I think.
Pretty sure.
I mean, granted, we're not making Hook, but It could just be that. Like that, the whole entire climax is a sequence of trying to keep Idris Elba from telling the world that there are talking animals.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, and I mean, how long is that anyway? I mean, actually, even like Pineapple Express, you know, like there's definitely some stuff leading up to it, but so then it does lead me to my same question: are they battling across the entire ocean, or is it like he escapes?
He escapes on Will's grandfather's boat that he just finishes.
Oh, I just finished it. That's pretty good. And then does Darwin ride across the ocean on whales?
Oh, okay. So he just like
how hokey are we going? We got him through this whole movie, and now we're like, just fuck you guys. Like he's like
ride a whale.
Just 2 whales.
Oh, he's skiing on them.
Skiing between 2 porpoises.
He's skiing.
It's a better trailer. I mean, are we making Dr. Dolittle like? You know what I mean? Like,
I can say, you know what?
Dr. Dolittle would ski on them.
He definitely would.
Dr. Dolittle, the new one, was a disaster.
Would they ski in that one on dolphins? It looked like it.
No, he fights a dragon, I think, at the end.
There's a dragon? I thought he was a veterinarian or something.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a vet that can talk to animals, and now there's dragons.
I guess how many times can you redo it?
We probably should add a dragon in ours. So.
Okay, so Idris steals the wife. Do we like that?
I like that.
Or captures the turtle, but
yeah, but I think it's more like then Darwin and the turtle can team up more to like, you know, we gotta get my wife back.
Idris steals Will's boat.
Will's grandfather's boat. I just finished that.
So then before that, in order for him to do that, Idris escapes, because I feel like at some point they should feel like they won. You know, like, we won. You're captured. Your men are captured.
He has the egg, too.
Oh, okay.
He has her and the egg.
Yep. Okay. So
and then it just like jumps time.
Well, that's like the weird thing. I was just thinking, like, it seems like there is a huge jump of like, them leaving the island to them getting back to town. That might be weird.
Town is right across. It's right there.
It's like, it's not the Galapagos. It's like, again, is it too much? It's really a tone question. Like, how broad comedy, how dumb are we willing? Because you could make this battle keep raging, and then you see the Indiana Jones map thing, and it's like even like animation of like, you know, whales and soldiers like fighting,
going back to Almost Heroes. Yeah,
it's like you could. It's dumb.
I think it takes you out a little bit.
It definitely takes you out.
I don't think it's dumb. I think it's just the right tone. It is dumb. The rest of it is dumb. Yeah, it's the same dumbness. I just think it takes you out of it.
Yeah, it does. It feels like to me this is the...
I mean, I don't mind the idea, like you said, a ship shows up there, but
what if the British colonial army? Like, we have no idea what time period this is.
It's like 1800s, 18 to 9, like
Idris,
early 1900s.
Idris sends a messenger on a rowboat. This is 1800s.
Yeah, Darwin was 18. He died, I think, like 1880s or something. Where's
the Galapagos? Like,
stop,
all these things matter. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Yeah. If for, you know, we plant up here in the beginning some kind of like, oh man, this is so dumb. It's like so forced. But the idea, okay, like the Spanish paid who paid Columbus to come? The Italians? I'm fucking awful. Okay, so somebody paid him to go do that.
Italian. I think the Spanish did.
Okay.
He was Italian and the Spanish paid him.
I think so.
So
right?
The idea is, what if in the 1800s there are these patrons of science, and they are, but maybe it's part of the British monarchy, and what Columbus was given was like a 3 ships, right? Like a small fleet. What?
Santa Maria.
What? Also, we should make a movie where Columbus is the villain. Sidebar, but maybe what Idris Elba wants is the glory of being able to take a fleet of British colonial or British ships to study. Like, is there some kind of goal for Idris Elba? Not just the glory. It's like, hey, the best cartographers and the best scientists in the world are gifted by the royals to go do whatever they want to study. And I am worthy of that. I'm worthy of 6 ships to bring to South America. And I can prove my worth. Just let me, and if there's some kind of plant like that early on, where you have, even at this party, say you have a monarch, like a princess or some shit like that, that's on the colonial ships, and then you end up bringing, like, somehow he can get the message to them. So right as the animal fighting is happening, there is the arrival of why do I keep saying colonial? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? The British. The old ships. The arrival of the old ships.
Oh, yeah, colonial.
So say there's this small fleet that arrives, and then his benefactor, who would be, the fucking Princess of Monaco or some shit like that. Like the rich people arrive to see
Princess Diana
if it's worthwhile, and they're basically like, hey, we brought 5 ships. We're gonna give you these. We're gonna give you 4 of these ships. If we think that this is worth the investment, because number 1, we want to steal this land from any native people who are here, but number 2, like, yeah, advanced science. And he could just steal Will's boat and make it to them with the turtle. Like, it could all be a continuing sequence. It's a little bit cheap, but like, at least it's like very planty, like, to get us to that ending, but at least he doesn't have to sail across the ocean to give us this thing that we like, which is him being discredited. I mean, we also have to plant.
I think 100% plant the fact that, like, he is doing this to get to that status and have that career. And that's literally the whole reason why he, like, I guess, became a witch too, is to, like, I'll be, I'll be able to do
anything to get, like, ahead.
I'll do anything to get that. That's his goal. That's his dream. But he doesn't really work hard at it, obviously. He just wants it now. So I think that's his background too. He didn't really do much, and all of a sudden he, like, started doing things and people liked him.
Are we gonna see any of the witchcraftery? Like,
I don't think he's that powerful.
Okay. But I mean, like, does he make sacrifices? So, like, the cat is like, oh, that was actually a guy.
That was my biggest mistake.
He made a blood sacrifice. Like, he blooded that guy too much, and then just like, oh God, you
I
put
think
the
he
soul
fucked
of this
up.
cat. So he's
Let me
making
put some of this cat blood in you.
Yeah, like all.
Yeah, I think he was a mistake for real. He was like not like he didn't mean to turn him into a cat.
So is he like taking iguana blood and stuff and just putting it into people? I think that would be one solution, is what I'm driving toward, is like, I love this moment where Idris tries to tell the world that there are talking animals, and it's like, if we could build it so that the audience is kind of on the edge of their seat, like, we're about to teeter between, like, a whole new world. If what you say is true, we will capture every animal on this island. We will capture every animal in the world, and we will try to make sure that we dominate and, figure this, whatever it is. That's dumb, but I was making a point and then I lost it. The point is, like, is that going to happen?
This whole thing that
Galapagos?
You're saying is the royalty saying this, though? We're going to do all this. I kind of lost my train of thought. This is dumb, but you get. I lost my train of thought, but you understand what our intent is.
I do like the idea of taking the audience all the way through to like almost like an hour and 40 minutes, and then suddenly you're like, fuck it, this thing just ends. Like, it's just this was like, this is called Darwinism. Just accept it. There's shit happening now. You're riding a whale. You're doing like, you know what I mean? Like, just take it and go away. Take this cat blood. So that basically biggest question I have is this happening in the Galapagos?
I'm sorry, which?
Idris telling the world, and then the turtle
because we might have the fleet
him.
Coming there
versus
to see.
How else? Otherwise, the ending of the this isn't the climax. This is part of the denouement. You know, it's like the climax is something different, and the climax still has Idris getting away.
I like the fleet coming, and it happens in the Galapagos because it also just like logistically, like. Obviously, as a movie, you can skip time, but like I think the time frame is fine in the beginning from going from there to the island.
Before he even goes there?
Yes.
Before he even goes there.
Before he goes. I think there's got to be something like some kind of like setup where even at that party. Dude, this is literally almost Heroes, isn't it? It's the same thing. There's like a party or something, and they say like, we need money. Remember. They're all like looking for money. But who fucking cares? Kids haven't seen it.
Almost Heroes sucks.
Darwinism is really great.
Darwinism is fantastic.
So Idris arrives at Royal Boat, we'll say. Royal Boat.
At the old boat.
So the British fleet arriving is a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
That can be like, I mean, we can just figure that out. I feel like it's just a dialogue thing. It's not even that crazy. It's just like maybe it's East India Trading Company or something like, hey, we make the rounds, and basically the plant is gonna be Idris telling the royal person, the rich person, I am going to change the face of science and I'm going to give you a legacy if you give me money. You're going to have the greatest legacy, you know, the same way that the Italians gave, or the Spanish gave Columbus his money. And he should say that, you know, like, so we just have to plant that earlier. I think that kind of fixes
the end, like where that climax is. Yeah, 100%.
It just makes this whole third act the climax.
Yeah.
And then the biggest part of the climax is probably like this moment.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so that's great. I think we should also plant early on like some weirdo that's like, this is so dumb, but if we could plant it in there somehow, like, do we still burn witches? You know, like, if do we still burn witches is a thing earlier in the movie, it would be great if that guy was back on the boat or something. Like, you know, like
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, you can do it.
You still burn witches.
And the party is like, they're like the after party.
This, dude. Yeah,
the party's the after party of burning a witch already. Or like
we just came from a burning.
There you
go. Know, a witch burning. It was a witch burning party.
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, they are celebrating a witch burning. 1800s, they do that still?
Probably not.
Jesus.
And Charles could say that. We still do that?
I mean, town. I feel like there's
small town pride.
Oh, it's terrible. All right.
So they burn him. They're having a witch burning party after Idris too, and the royalty's like, so we can give you a fleet. And he's just like, I don't want any of that. I never did. I just wanted to discover something. And she's like, so what did you discover here? Because, I mean, he made a turtle talk.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just, you know, he keeps his mouth shut. Like, oh, yeah, it's just the normal stuff here. You know, normal animals, normal things.
Nothing different, nothing to see here.
What if? Okay, so we mentioned this shark character that's going to come back a couple times. What if it doesn't know what's going on? It's been in the water, so it's been fighting, and it pops up, and he's like, "Hey, motherfuckers, try it!" And he hits the side, and they're like, "A shark!" And they shoot it with a harpoon, and it's immediately killed. It's the oldest living creature. Oh god,
I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Yep.
Like all of this.
So maybe Darwin says what his real discovery is. And it's basically nurture wins. Kind of, he's not going to say that, but you know what I mean? Friendship is actually more, and basically they're like, that's very dumb.
Friendship doesn't make you money. You know that.
And he's like, "Oh, you're right. I'm not gonna write a book about it."
Or it's kind of, you could add a minor little bit of peril. They're like, okay, yeah, I guess you don't need ships for that, but we are gonna have a wonderful turtle stew after this witch burning. And he's like, oh no, I need to take this turtle. Okay.
Now I'm thinking he wrote the theory of evolution. I don't know if this is not true at all about his daughter, but what if he used to just journal for himself all the time, and then he started actually publishing things and realized that he's not into the rat race and is just journaling now. So he's just going to journal these things. The reason why I'm saying this is go back to his daughter, and that was what his daughter did, and that's what she left in the Galapagos.
Oh,
all
that's
of their
wonderful. Findings,
and she just kept it there. She's like, I don't like to do it for that, Dad. I just like to find these things, and then maybe someone will find this one day, just like we did, and have the same adventure and the fun like we did. Isn't that the point? Why do we need everybody to know about it?
Yeah,
let's let them find it for themselves.
That's really nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a plant and payoffs list down here. Shark, who knows all the history.
So why doesn't he do that on either the boat ride or the night before? He's writing not as a journal, he's writing as a book, right? And it's a voiceover. So at the end, when they leave the island, he's writing and he's like, "Oh, on to your next book, Darwin, Will?" And he's like, "No, I don't think so." And he's like, "What?" And he's just like, I'm just gonna write.
Yep.
And then it could just be a voiceover fucking Will interrupted again.
I lost my train of thought. He's lucky I don't sink his grandfather's boat this second.
Will interrupted again. We are still on his shitty grandfather's boat. Then he actually fixed up pretty nice because the grandfather did a terrible job.
So other plants and payoffs.
Yes, you don't have to make it a question. We still burn witches, period.
We still burn witches? It's a small town. I like that. I kind of feel like that's that gets you into the party.
Yes. Agreed.
And then we kind of bring that back. Do we see Idris Elba burning? Or just from the distance you see the smoke or something?
I think it's his face, I'm going to get burned, and it crosses all into his skull, and there's fire.
Yeah,
he just got burned alive.
You going to burn me alive? It's a nice friendship. I'm going to burn to death. And it's going between the turtle and Darwin having this beautiful moment. This seems like an unfair punishment for what I've done. Okay. So I think that's really helpful, building out this third act. So, okay, let's keep working backwards a little bit. So we have, or I'll start from sort of what I would see as the beginning of that third act, which is Darwin and the turtle are in the bilge or whatever. What do you call where they're like trapped in that boat? I don't know, old boat terms, of course. And they hear something. It's the shark or something like that. You know, one of the animals has shown up, and that sequence begins. The Jungle Book sequence begins. I mean, this is like really just a huge action sequence, right? Like, we're just gonna have to write it like, you know, animals all band together. Ban or band? Band together.
Band together.
Sailors are confused and scared. Like, it's just gonna be like a fucking shot by shot thing.
Yeah, we should try to make as many twists and turns. Who fights who?
Yeah,
versus lackey. Like, how are we breaking all of that down?
Lackey versus lackey, of course. Lackey versus Will, rather. You think? Or
yeah.
I think there probably will be like minor side characters. Like, you're gonna see that person a couple times.
Yeah, there should be maybe one more specific person that the turtle has to fight that has had a riff with. Turtle versus turtle guy. I was a turtle once.
My name's Turtle too.
Look at my back.
My name's not Turtle, motherfucker. Nobody in this movie has asked me my name.
His back is just a huge callus. It's all calloused.
It breaks the fourth wall. No one in this movie said my name.
Yeah. Obviously, there's Darwin versus Idris. I feel like some of this stuff is gonna be payoff from things that Darwin was learning in the this bat shit is actually shits 10 times the size of its body somehow.
Oh, and he holds a bat and he shits it out. Is it gonna be that? Like, he's
I was thinking the bats are gonna shit, but like that's better.
He uses it as a machine gun.
He uses all the animals as weapons.
And he gets the seagulls like, come on. And the seagulls all shit on his head and like he blinds him because he gets bird shit in his eye. And he's like, ah.
Darwin's like trying to call him. He's like, caw-caw, caw-caw. And then the turtle's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to call a horde of birds. And he's like, just say what you want them to do.
They know English.
So, fish. I'm just gonna write because I don't know why.
Yeah, fish. Definitely fish.
Fish sticks.
And so, at this point, just to understand the,
you're trying to understand. That's okay.
Just to understand, at this point, Darwin wants to escape with all the animals and get Idris to leave. Idris wants to leave with the animal that he's captured. And his intention, we should make his intention clear. He's going to kill Darwin.
Yeah, I don't even think he wants to
leave. I think he's kind of just forced to leave.
Oh, right.
He does leave
the fleet.
To take.
Yeah.
And Charles is confused. Like, why didn't you just leave? And then he has to tell him why.
So Idris basically, yeah, okay, that's fine.
He's like, I have a fleet meeting me. I'm taking this shitty boat right now.
And so then instead it would basically be like, Darwin's like, yo, we just need to get him off this island. When the fleet if Darwin knows there's a fleet coming, just remove all the human evidence. Get rid of these 2 boats and the people.
Mm-hmm.
So Darwin's motivation in this thing is steal the boat.
Just get out. Yep.
Just so we know, like, what is he trying to do other than fight?
And that doesn't happen, obviously.
No, right. Fish. That's a good note. We'll know what that means. So British fleet arrives probably like as they're fighting. You can see it way in the distance.
Yeah, I think we should probably figure out some homework here. I would definitely say the fight action scene, like what plans are being paid off, if any, there should be.
Mm-hmm.
Any type of, the way he's fighting, anything he's learned about the animals. I also think we should figure out a little bit more characters on both sides, because the fight's going to probably have characters that we were introduced with on Idris's team, and Darwin's. And...
yeah, like, is there an animal that actually is helping Idris for some reason, too?
Oh, there could be.
Like one that hates the turtle, so he kind of, like, reveals himself.
We did talk about that early on. There was, like a civil war happening when they arrived.
War, yeah.
That would beef up the second act a shitload.
Yeah, I think that's another issue. I think the fun in games we have to remember is, like, the trailer moments. So I think we need to figure out what exactly is that.
Yeah.
It's him talking to the animals is my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun games of it. That is the title and the log line of it is Darwin talking to fucking animals.
Right.
So those situations, those set pieces need to be figured out.
Yeah.
We need to visualize a little bit of that. I think that would be ideal to make that fun in games funnier. I mean, that's truly going to be the comedic trailer of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think also though, like the intro is like pretty much like him being buried alive is trailer moment like.
Yeah, I do. I think there's almost
the
enough in here, but yeah, the second act is very light, and
Yes.
I think a lot of it might come from just kind of again, sort of working backwards from, well, if this is a moment we like and it has to happen, what would have happened right before it? What would have had to have happened? But yeah, so basically I like all that. We do that. And then I'd say when we come back, we fill in, let's fill in the heart. Let's give the thing like an actual emotional through line starting from the beginning and see, what are those pieces we're putting in about his daughter, the journaling. Let's just see how that actually starts to build.
Okay.
Because I think if we add the emotional through line, we add the couple of plants and payoffs, we actually have more than we think. And I'd rather write it like super thin, skeletal than like, oh, let's just put that part in there because that's kind of funny too. I'd rather have it be like, oh, this is all necessary, and just sort of see how long it is. I think we're pretty close though.
We're close.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So next time we will try to finish the blocking of Darwinism.